all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. Are you looking for some books which you need in order to make your kids start reading or in order to read to your kids? Then you're into the right video because in today's video I'm having 10 book recommendations that are specifically for children of any age. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing that I'm recommending today is a series and it is The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. This is the first book, which is The Magician's Nephew. There are totally 7 books in this series and I've read the first 2 alone, and I'm sure that this series is very much suitable for children because it deals with magical happenings that happen in this world called Narnia, that is like a parallel world to our actual world, and the entrance for this world resides in the wardrobe of a person's house, a person's big house. I'd recommend this highly for children because it teaches some moral values along with so incredibly believable and whimsical tales, and we also have a lot of talking animals in this one. So rather than just watching some cartoons, you can read this to your children, or you can try and make them interested in reading this because it is very much fun and they'll end up liking this a lot. There are also illustrated editions available for this one, so you can check out them also. The next 3 books that I'm recommending are classics, and all these classics are so easy to read. And the first one that I'm recommending is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Now in this book we have 4 sisters and their mother who are the main characters in the story. These people the story as a whole happens during the time of the American Civil War, and they have sent their father to the war front in order to fight, and how their household is during the time their father is not there, that's explained so beautifully in this book. It's not at all a sad story in any sense. I went into this book thinking that it was going to be a sad story, but it is such a happy story, guys. It is so happy. It just makes you feel like you're just eating a soft spongy cake, and it is so sweet. It flows so good, and there are these beautiful relationships that are shown throughout this book, especially the sibling bonds between the 4 sisters and their mother. It is so beautiful. If you're a person who has a sister, or especially if you're a female having a sister, I'd highly recommend you to read this, and also to make your children read this because rather than any other person in the world, sisters can relate to this very easily because the story itself is about 4 sisters and the beautiful bonds between them. The next book that I'm recommending is The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. This is also a classic and it is also very easy to read. I'm recommending this because if your child or any child that you're recommending this to or reading this to ends up liking this story, there's a lot of content out there that they can watch and learn a lot from. In the story we have this little boy named Mowgli who's left into the jungle as a baby, and he's brought up by animals. Since they are animals, certain group of animals accept in growing Mowgli with them and the others are not, because of the fact that he's just human, and human beings are mostly prey to some of the wild animals that live in this jungle, and the problems faced by Mowgli and the adventures that he has along with the animal friends that he has and the animal family that he has in the story. It is so good. I highly recommend this to children because it has talking animals in it, and it will interest children to read a lot more, and is also very much adventurous. Next book that I'm recommending is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Now in this book we have an old man named Ebenezer Scrooge, and he's such a cold old man. Okay, he's so rude to every person, and during a Christmas Eve his nephew comes and invites him to dine with him for Christmas, and he's just rude to that boy, and he sends him away. On the same night there is this carol of people who come and sing and ask for donations for the poorly in order to celebrate Christmas. He's rude to them also, and he sends them away. On the same night all these things happen. He's haunted by the ghost of his friend named Jacob Marley. He comes there and tells to Ebenezer Scrooge that he's going to be haunted by 3 ghosts in the next 3 days, and those will be the ghosts of the present Christmas, the past Christmas, and the Christmas to come. And all these 3 ghosts, they come and show certain visions to Ebenezer Scrooge. Will he understand what's going on and change himself or not? In order to know that, you will have to read the story. I recommend this for children because it is also very much whimsical in nature. We get 3 ghosts, but these 3 ghosts, they are not scary in any sense. They just come and try to teach something to you, or something to an old man who has probably lost his mind and he's so cold, in order to make him a bit more warm and good natured. These three ghosts can come, and I'm sure that children will be able to get a lot out of this one. The next book that I'm recommending is Eragon by Christopher Paolini. This is the first book in the Inheritance Cycle series by Christopher Paolini. And in this book, we have this young boy named Eragon. And one day, while Eragon is just roaming through the jungles, he gets this huge blue stone which looks so precious and beautiful. Since he thinks that if he sells it, he'll be able to make a lot of money and it might be worth a fortune to him. He just takes the egg and goes home. But the stone and goes home, and the stone just turns out to be a dragon egg, and out of the dragon egg hatches this beautiful blue dragon called Saphira, and he becomes the rider of that female dragon. And the bond between Saphira and Aragon, it is so beautiful, guys. I'm sure that children will love reading this because it is so whimsical, it is so nostalgic. I'm sure that adults will also like this because it is nostalgic in every sense. That's the best word that I can use in order to describe this book. And there's not just this thing going on, but also a lot of politics and kingdom related things into which Aragon is swept into, and it is so beautiful. It has magic, it has dragons, it has dragon riders, and it's going to be a very fun ride, and children will enjoy this a lot. The next book is a very obvious one, and if I'm going to speak about books for children or books that beginners should read in any sense, this is going to be there always, and it is Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. Now, in this book, we have this 11-year-old boy named Harry, and he's just swept into this magical world during his 11th birthday when he finds out that he's a wizard. He goes to this wizarding school called Hogwarts and he learns magic, gets trained in magic, meets other wizards and grows up along with them. He gets awesome friends there. The friendship in this book is the best, if you ask me. And apart from all those things, there's this other guy who's trying to kill Harry because while the last time he tried killing Harry, he died almost, and he has come back now. It is such a fun ride, guys. I'll tell you to force this on your children because though they end up liking the story or not, I'm sure that they'll come out as a better person after reading Harry Potter. The next book that I'm recommending is The BFG by Roald Dahl. Now, Roald Dahl books are very much suitable for children, and I'd highly recommend you to read these stories to children because they are made for kids. That's the perfect thing about this book, his books, and I'm recommending this in specific just because I have a physical copy of it. Others I've just listened to them on audio. And in this book, The BFG, we have this giant called the Big Friendly Giant, and this little girl named Sophie, you can see here. And one day, what happens during a night while she's sleeping, Sophie hears a sound, and she looks out of the window when she finds this giant walking on the street. And the giant has to take Sophie away from her house just because he has left her see him, and there's no way it's going to be a secret anymore. And he takes Sophie to the dwelling of the giants where they live. There are also these many giants who live there, and except this giant, all of them are very mean. They are so horrible in the sense that they eat children and people or any other thing that they see in front of them. It is such a fun ride, guys. We also get the appearance of the Queen of England in this one. It is so good. It is so hilarious. The adventure part of this one is the best, and I'm sure the children will love this for sure. It will be very much relatable to them. The next book that I'm recommending is Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Now, in this book, we have a little boy named Augustus, and due to a lot of surgeries which Augustus had as a child, his face is not normal. His face is so different from that of others, as you can see in this book. The reason for having such a lot of surgeries is due to mutation in his genes, which actually occurs in 1 in a million people or 5 million people, and it has happened to Augustus. And his family takes care of him in the best way for that. Until 4th grade, he's homeschooled, and from 5th grade, he's put into this middle school, and he has to deal with all the things that other children also deal with. It is a bit more difficult for Augustus due to his appearance. I recommend you to make your children read this or read this with them because it will promote a proper body image for children and how they have to respect and treat the differences between any person, and how they have to make people who seem different like they are not different from any other person there, because all that matters is the mind and the character rather than the appearance. It is very well executed and represented in this book. Handling a subject like this is very difficult, but this author has done the best thing in representing this, especially for children, because it is targeted towards the younger audience, that is middle grade, that is children. And it is a very good book, guys. You have to read this to your children, or you must make them read this, because this is one which needs to be read by every child out there. Last three books that I'm recommending are short story collections, and they are all by Roald Dahl. I'm recommending these, they are by Ruskin Bond. I'm recommending these in specific because for children it is not so easy to be attentive throughout a story in a single book. But when it comes to short stories, they are just going to be 10 or 20 pages long, and when they are put together as a collection, they are much easier to read for children as well as adults. But for children it is way more easy. So I'm recommending these three, which are The Laughing Skull, Stories Short and Sweet, and Friends in Wild Places, Birds, Beasts and Other Companions, all three by Ruskin Bond. All these three books are so sweet. The language is simple. It is so perfect for children, if you ask me. And the main characters that we see in most of these three books are just children. So children will be able to relate with these stories a lot. And they are stories that don't happen in the current world. They are stories which used to happen in the past. And this is like a showcase through which we can show how our childhood was to children. And it is so good. The things that Roald Dahl discusses and his writing in specific, that is the gem. And I'm sure that children will love these three short story collections, and they will also find them very easy to read. That's all for today, and if you did enjoy watching this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.